Today we're Jesus Christ.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your Astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. Leading out
loud. Welcome to League Out Loud, the shift show that takes all things spiritual and gets to the truth without humor and sometimes painfully. I am psychic astrologer, Sensei Christopher Witecki.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor with ScottCruzPM.com. How's your week been, Christopher?
Shit, it's been difficult. Well, I was just telling you before we went on the air late that I'm in my 12th house transit, man. And in astrology, that's kind of like where you dig through all of your subconscious stuff. And it just kind of comes to the table. It's kind of like you have to clean out your attic or your garage. So for me, it's just the return of, it's just the return. Actually, I think it's the closure of themes because it's not really bugging me at the end of the day. I'm like, oh, yeah, this all done. Oh, yeah. But it's like weird dreams, sleep cycles off, losing sense of space-time, just wandering in closets like Ronald Reagan in his last term, like shit like that. But I'm okay. I'm okay.
You're okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're in one piece.
I am in one piece,
it's
it's
a beat up piece, but I'm glad you're still in one piece. What's that?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been a hard year, How are you doing?
Look, my whole thing now is the introspective stuff for me. I don't know if I told you this last weekend, but I'm like, am I doing things the right way? How I want to change things? I need more. So it's been a lot of that. That energy, am I doing things correctly? So I've been overly questioning myself, but not in a way it's where it's leaving me insecure, but just kind of like, I want more. I'm starting to realize I want more. I want to do more, and it's you and I talked when you first met me, you said, you gotta get over this not wanting fame crap, Scott. And it's like, yeah, but now I'm starting to recognize I want more of an audience who have a broader reach for positive reasons, so that's kind of beat me in the butt, and having to focus on those things. And so to me, that's heavy because that's not organic for me, to be like that.
Yeah. Well,
it's heavy.
It is. It's heavy because it's, I don't know, here's a weird sound in the background. It's heavy because it's emotional. And what it is like, we're in Cancer now. So we're like we're hitting our emotional, our emotional ruts. And the last time we were dug out of an emotional rut was 12 years ago, the last time Jupiter was in Cancer. So every 12 years, Jupiter sort of, what makes us want more. And this is, you're saying right there, you want more, than what you have. You're tired of the same old. And I think part of the seriousness is that the Earth is in Capricorn. So like Cancer is like halfway through the year. At the top of the year, we have Capricorn. So Capricorn is like, oh, this year I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do all that stuff. See? And you're so determined. Then you hit the rough Pisces where it's like, nope, sorry, you've got past life shit to deal with. And so Pisces hits you, knocks you off, and you're like, come stumbling up. And finally you get to Gemini, you're like, okay, we're starting to coast. And then Cancer hits you, you're like, traffic again.
Yeah.
And the Earth is in Capricorn. So this is the time of year where you're like, I don't think I want those New Year's resolutions. I don't think you change, you make new decisions.
Yeah. Mine's kind of saying like the things I said I never wanted, I want. And that's what's tripped me up. Because I'm like, I never said I wanted that. Now I'm wanting it now. So, oh shit, that's a big difference of paradigm. It's exciting because I know, after moving and like things have completely changed. I've been so at peace since I've moved and in this new space, this new energy. Like, it's an underlining piece, which is great. But I'm also kind of excited because I also feel like there's something massive, like a massive change of even just my own identity. I think it's in my astrology too. Something about Uranus. I don't know. Uranus. Something in transit, but it's like which reflecting identity change for me. So I definitely can feel that. But it's always weird when you're going through that kind of identity change. Not so much a crisis, but like an upgrade, and then you're in between it, so you feel uncomfortable. Like I'm not there, but I'm not here yet. So where am I existing in this? Purgatory.
I used to have a recurring dream about being lost in the spiritual airport. Where I'm like running into people I've said goodbye to. I'm like running into people I don't want to see. I can't find my wallet. I can't find my phone, and it's always in one of these transitional periods that I have this dream. Yeah. And we're in one of them. I mean, I'm in the same place, to be honest. I just happen to know what's next for me. I've been always blessed with knowing what's next, and what's next for me is the most exciting part. The part I got into it for the first place. So I'm really excited, but the old part of me is just like, oh, come on already. And just following through and closing lessons. There's a lot of emotional. Basically, we're coming full emotional circle. This happened 12 years ago. So think back to 2013. I'm just over the audience to do the math. 2013, what was going on. But for me, what went on was I actually went to start Namaste Today, really. I was doing kind of a half in, half out Namaste. I was doing Namaste Today 5 days a week. And that's when I went to the once a week show. So I always change formats.
That's funny because 2013 is when I decided to actually make my work public. Like that was a huge shift. Yeah, because I was like not wanting anyone to know I was a mystic. I was like under the table, didn't want anything to be public, was not actually working in the space. I was composing. And so 2013 Spirit's like, we need you. And I'm like, okay. So, and then that's when I start to, put into gear. So that was a massive change of 2013 for me.
It was. That's what we're about to go through. I know, and I'm hoping for
that's
it.
exciting, actually. I'm kind of excited about that because,
I mean, I moved to southern. I went to Orange County, which was much more chill than LA area. So I got out of that crazy LA air stuff and vibe and set up a little, like, Costa Mesa was where I was at. So it's like real chill and just sort of like palm trees swinging, like, kind of went to a Hawaii kind of vibe. So the vibe of your life changed. But this happens to be really interesting because this change, whatever everyone's about to make, is actually your star role in your lifetime. So everyone's about to do their star role.
Totally, I agree.
And that the last time that we saw this was World War II. Like my grandparents will tell me when they were alive, they barely remember anything before World War II. Like their whole life before World War II is just erased. And they just only knew life from World War II forward. And the whole Earth only knew life from World War II forward. And we're dipping into those same planets. Uranus is going into Gemini on Monday. Now, the last time that was World War II that this happened. That's right. Uranus in Gemini was the energy of innovation of technology. So when Uranus is in Gemini, we invented radar, television, the nuclear bomb, rockets, like all the stuff you see in modern today was made in that small period really of Uranus, that's discovering Uranus in Gemini. And here we are again. This time it looks like AI.
So what does that mean? So my moon is in Gemini. Does that somehow affect me in any sort of way if Uranus is entering?
Oh, hell yeah. Well, it's going to cross your moon. So you're going to literally have to elevate your emotional field to a higher vibration. So you're going to be, I think if you, maybe you used to like dwell on things or, just go there and reminisce about a time that was hard, or you just allowed yourself in a little puddle. Really, you jumped in puddles before. Now the universe is going to no, that's acid rain now. You better not do that. Yeah. You literally have to, jump over the puddle.
My foot.
Yeah. And the plane will sort of not keep altitude at first. It does mean though, I'll tell you this. I want to ask you this actually with your psychic eye. I feel, so when Uranus hits Gemini, I was talking to someone before the show. It was like, last time Uranus hit Gemini, what was the big holy crap? Okay, because usually your minds are blown. And I feel it was that they discovered that the Germans were killing methodically Jewish people in like a factory setting. I think that was oh my God. It just blew people's minds. Still blows my mind. You read about it in high school or whatever. It's like, what? They made a factory of killing. I don't think it's going to be that dark. By the way, I've been told that was the darkest time in the human history we'll ever have is World War II. As far as how we took technology to kill and we just, mass killed and nuclear bomb, mass kill, Germans, not mass killing. That was the lowest from what I hear. But, this might be, I'm wondering what may come out. Do you feel any kind of announcement or
because yeah, and to me, it's collective. It's in the collective reality where things will be hitting, things will be kind of, and see when I say crash, I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean that in a good sense. Things fall, collapse, and rebuild. So I feel like during this time, things will be happening this way. Not so much that I always say astrology, you can use the energy in both, positive or negative. So in this case, it's gonna be a breaking down, but it's gonna launch us forward. And you and I talked about this last year. I'm like, I didn't feel like the economy was gonna go into a recession, and here we are. Crypto is at the highest this year. In the stock. So
that's the new economy. That's the new economy. I'm not interrupting. That's the new economy, though. I'd say.
Right. And I'm not talking about any president that did or didn't do. I'm not there. I'm just looking collectively at where we're going, right? Because I don't give the human credit. And so we're moving forward, and I definitely feel like yes, things are being breaking down, and so many different paradigms within our government, within our law, within even our food. A lot of stuff. Did you hear that one of the major companies had agreed by 2027 to stop adding, synthetic additives and food colorings? They've agreed not to. And they host so many small food companies and big food companies. That's a big shift. That's a big breaking down of something and something new. So to me, I think we're going to see a lot of goodness like that. During this time, actually.
You know what? I don't know for sure, but I can give Robert Kennedy, RFK Jr. that because he's running, the new health thing, and I think they all know that he's pissed about his father being killed and he's going to clean house. You know what I mean? Kind of his father's agenda. I haven't been up with the news though. However, my guys just told me the last 2 days they want me to start watching the news. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I guess I don't know. Have you gotten that? Have you gotten that ping? Did you
I
should
got
start
that
watching the news?
ping. Yeah, I got that ping 2 months ago. So I've been actually like objectively studying it, reading it because I want to help. I'd say I have to help people navigate the winter time. So we have to be educated. And so yeah, I've been educating myself and I made a lot of sources and seeing what's going on and actually reading what's going on. I've been making videos about predictions that have, came to pass for this year because I was catching up the news and predicting what was going on. And so yeah, I think it's a good time now to be objective with it. I think now you can be objective with it, being that you're in your video game perspective. You're like, oh, I'll just play this game.
You're right. I
so
think
you can watch.
You just described my aha. I think that was my aha moment. I'm not kidding you, dude. My life has changed since I've realized I'm in a video game right now. I really, it has changed. It had just rolling thunder kind of like realizations where I really feel for the first time in my life, I know I can just reset. You know what I mean? Like I really feel it, whatever it was. But that's the kind of aha moment I think people are going to have sometime in Cancer. And the reason why it's in Cancer is because your feelings, your emotional field, first of all, is your widest field. It's your biggest emotion. It's the biggest field. It goes literally outside of your body and swirls around you, right? And so it kind of, when they say get grounded, they're saying get in touch with their feelings, get in touch with how you feel about things, because that field of emotional energy literally kind of keeps you, kind of bolted to the earth on a gravitational pile. So your mind can be off in Gemini having all these ideas, but feelings keep dragging you down is what happens. So when you start clearing the litter out of that feeling, that emotional field, then you start lightening up. It's this the feelings that you're concluding with that I think hold you back.
Well, yeah, but people also have to identify if it's like a feeling they need to work on, or just there's a feeling because they're just being reactive. I mean, some people are just being so reactive lately. They don't really know what they feel, just responding to everything else around them. And so I think when we start eliminating that clutter first, then we can actually hear the real feelings, that we really are, battling with deep down inside, because we have all that distortion of reactions, out of the picture. And so I think a lot of us should ask ourselves, are we spending a lot more of our day reacting to things or feeling truly what we want to be feeling? And so that helps. That helps. And I went through a period, I was so reactive, through a period of time, and I thought that's how I felt. And when I broke it down, I don't really feel those things I'm actually reacting to. And so that was another huge growth to me too at that time, that I had that major change. I was able to understand, and I'm just reacting.
Yeah, that was the night you beat me up, but I forgive you. No, I'm kidding. Emotionally though,
you still have a scar on your lip from that today.
I know. I'm like Harrison Ford here. You're right. And what we teach at SiriusJoy.com is that one should react to yourself. Like most of the time when you get triggered by something, it's because you have an emotional wormhole history of this happening in life, which is what I've been saying politicians are doing. I think no matter what politician it looks like some guy that, came into your village and killed all your women or something. Like it looks like someone from a past life. It's triggering you. It's triggering that nerve line through past lives and karma. And that's what we mean by the emotional curve line. Like it's like nerve cord that goes through past lives. So my approach was, I turned my back on the trigger because it doesn't even matter. That was just like what I hijacked in today. It doesn't even matter. I go straight to how I'm feeling and I just start really rocking the baby, which is really weird because you'll find me on the porch with my thumb in my mouth, but it works. It works. I'm kidding.
I was your mouth. That was somewhere else. Oh, I saw your thumb up something else, not your mouth. Oh, okay. You must have been upside down then. Okay.
That's Leading Loud After Dark.
The night version. But I think what you're saying is what we should be focusing on now. That before it actually complete enters Gemini, or what is it? Complete enters Gemini, Uranus.
We're in Cancer. What do you mean? So Jupiter?
We're in Cancer. You didn't say Uranus was going to conjunct with Gemini or something?
On Monday.
On Monday. Okay, right. So that's what I'm saying. Before that happens, I think it's good we be very aware. And we did a show about this last week, which is perfect timing too, about, being sovereign with our emotions. So now's a good time to understand this and get that in gear. This way we can be clear, because we clear out a lot of that stuff. We're more psychic. We're more intuitive. Like, oh yeah, I see through that, And so when we're stuck in those feelings and emotions, we're not going to see what's going ahead. We'll feel like we're riding this crazy roller coaster instead of enjoying the ride. Like a lot of us are, even through the crazy times.
Yes. I believe that to get into, I am a progressed Cancer for what that's worth. It means that my Taurus has gone through Gemini and I'm progressed Cancer, right? It's pretty progressive. It does look good, guys. It does look good. But and so I've been when I remember when my progress went from Gemini to Cancer, I was like a fucking nutcase. Like I was so overwhelmed with emotion. I even got mad. I'm like, progressions can't be this literal, but I was just moody, and God was just like, let's crank up the emotion. So I had to learn how to deal with it, like from a modern mind and whatnot. And what I've realized is that boundaries are really important for emotions, and it may not be what you think. It's like you have to go in, you have to sort of psychically, emotionally separate your feelings about being pissed about him from your feelings about pissed about mom, from your feelings about pissed, all the different feelings. You got to define the edges of them. And I use a visual where you just like pour in a glass, pour in a glass, pour in a glass. Like pour each of these emotions into a glass. That alone will calm you down like 30%. Because most of the time, feelings sort of blend in with each other and they double stack. So it's like it will tidal wave you. But if you categorize them into, oh yeah, that's that feeling about this. Now, the more clarity you get on your feelings, the more you see into others. It's like the intimacy in me.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
In me,
yeah,
I see intimacy.
Yeah.
Right? I know, it's one of those doctor book things.
It's Sesame Street for spirituality there. No, I'm kidding. But it's just the way it sounded, it rhymed. But no, it's true. And I think that when we do categorize that too, we can see the common denominator between all of them too. You might realize, oh, I'm actually like I'm validating them too much, and so I'm not getting to turn. So that's why they're all the same actually energy, because sometimes we tend to pile that on and we think we have so much going on. It's like, no, you really have one thing going on and 5 different wrappers, 5 different presentations, and I think we can definitely simplify and then of course, as you know, when we solve those problems, then people start falling away from us, or we start clearing people away. We're going to be in a state of I would say loneliness, but having more time with yourself, and that will leave space to, again, bring newer people in your life and newer people you work with, coworkers, whatever, lovers, plural.
Yeah.
More than one.
Definitely. I feel, well, up until now, too, there's a karmic line. I'm not. Saturn in Pisces is on the line. Now, Saturn's in Aries right now. So one of the things we're feeling is Saturn's in Aries at 1 degree and Neptune's in Aries at 2 degrees. And this is basically the universe saying, pick your boots up by your soul, yourself by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Pick yourself up, by your bootstraps, soldier. That's what it is. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. We're all feeling this push to like pick up, stand up. It's kind of like in rock, you're like, get up, get the fuck up, like to stand up. And so we have this force to stand up, and then we have this other force trying to pull us down into the old, trying to stay in the old. It's like we're pulling it like tar man, like out of the tar pits in some regards. And by the way, Robbie Hunt, our lead astrologer, she went back. She can't find in modern times at all any Saturn Neptune conjunctions in Aries. It just has not happened in modern times.
That's crazy.
We're talking like way before Christ. She went back to cavemen. So it's like it's a very unique transit we've never been through before. And to me, if you want to go way back, I feel like this is the first time we're waking up since Atlantis. Like we have been down.
I feel that psychically for sure. It's gonna be that type of transformation for me, on an elevation. And so, I think again, like we have to enjoy the phasing process too. We can't just automatically convert into our new perspective. Like there's gonna be a phasing experience. And so instead of like you're being a tug of war of that, just understand you're merging. It's a merging experience, because when we pause in that merge, dude, it's gonna feel like a tug of war. Like, I don't know. And then we start judging. Like I've been judging myself a little bit too much for that because I feel that pull that end. But I'm just like, let me just allow myself to merge. Spirit told me yesterday, just like you're psychic to see what's happening, like take it moment to moment. You don't have to hop there right now. And so a lot of us are psychic about the next phases. And so like we think it has to be here now. It's like, no, you're just being a little more psychic. Be comfortable in the progress of it, And that's something I learned, this past couple of days when I was kind of in meditation about it. I was like, I just can feel that, but I don't need to be in it either, and just allow it to progress, And now I'm kind of enjoying it more.
The ride. The video game, you're enjoying the game more? Yeah, I am too. Yeah. I am too. For me, it's in my 6/12, so my body's going through. I'll just tell you guys, when you do a major energetic shed, your body does too, because your body is the embodiment of the soul. So there is some aches, pains, diseases, things happening. I heard like 3 or 4 dogs that died because those are companions, and they're like, "See, I'm out of here." I've had enough of this. There's a lot of just bumpy road. But I would think that here, in the next 2 weeks or so, I mean, this is the field where it starts to get really intense, and it gets intense for the people who haven't done the work and now they're being forced up, right? So I think that if you're going through pain, if you're going through sorrow, if you're going through a really hard time, it's because you waited till the last minute, which is okay. Maybe you're just young and didn't know this, but and part of you was like wanting to stay where it was, and Mother Earth is trying to pull you up. I had a huge epiphany too that. I think feelings. We talked about this last week. I've lost space time, but I feel like feelings are really our main communication as humans and animals. Like we're constantly broadcasting our feelings out in this field, like almost
true.
like I hate to say it's like wireless. Like emotions are our wireless, and we're all wireless broadcasters, and we're all
And
wireless receivers.
but that's the thing that breaks people up, and that's the thing that brings people together. How many people, because of their emotions, you made me feel this way, and do nothing serious because of that emotion, like we're done, you know? How many relationships we ended just because of simple emotional reactions, you know? Or that's how we draw someone. Oh, they make me feel this way. Like I felt good around them, so I want more of them. So yeah, feeling is what dominates, you know? But so
Yeah.
many people, and that's what we were talking about it last week, and we'll get into even the read moving forward, why we have to be in tune to this, because so many people are they say they're ruled by their emotions. I'm like, that just sounds so odd to me. It's like saying the car drives itself if it's not a Tesla, right? And so it's like we are the ones that are creating the emotion. We need to understand how to navigate those things, and so we're not like
taught.
driven by it.
I know. In fairness to us, first of all, we're coming out of slavery, and I mean all of us. Okay, every
yeah.
race on the earth, every soul on the earth
Yeah.
we've all been slave. Right now, you're slave to IRS. You're slave to your job. We're still being told what we have to do, where to do it. They're not being told in kindergarten how to calm yourself and bring yourself back to center. We're being told, let's go do a video game break. You know, we're
Yeah.
being told to escape through alcohol, through television, through you know, and to ignore our feelings. And the step system that you know that I have channeled explains it. First your heart, then your feelings, then your thoughts way up at step 5, which means any thought you have is based on a feeling you already have. Any thought. So if that water of emotion is boiling, your mind goes there automatically. It's sort of taken there. And I don't think we're aware enough of how we work as spirit and energy too.
Yeah, and then we also, because like I always say, there's another paradigm where it's like you choose to focus on something, and that renders a thought, and that thought creates the emotion creates your action and your behavior. So, yeah, we have to understand the streamline of that, you know, and it happens fast because we're very instinctual how we respond to things, that we just think, oh, I feel this emotion, it's so powerful, so it's valid. It's like we got to learn, and like that's why I think this, when you've been using the video game analogy, why I tell people it's good to take a step back and look at that perspective, say, why am I feeling this? What's going on here? And just taking the time, you know, like it doesn't take much to do that. People say, well, I can never do that in the moment. It's like, well, you're never going to do it in the moment because you have to feel the moment. Do it after. You know, when you feel shitty, contemplate, okay, well, let's see what's going on. Let's just rewind, you know. And
that's boundaries. Like you have to feel safe to work on your feelings. If you don't feel safe, your feelings can like escape from all the other freaking people broadcasting their emotions.
Right.
So
right.
you can't. I need privacy. I shut the world out, you know, and go into my own little shell. That's the Cancer shell. Cancer shell pulls in to deal with its feelings, right? And the Cancer shell also, you know, thinks logically, left, right, left, right, left, right. You know, either this way or this way, to get itself out of that emotional place.
Right. And look, and I think it's as well too, is it's like, you know, when we understand like these parameters and we are protecting what we feel too at the same time, then that's how you find your joy in the chaos. That's how you actually find your peace in the chaos, because you validated and vindicated so much of what you feel and found the truth of that. Nothing else can bring that down. And to me, that's what spirituality is, and that's what freedom is. Cause I live like 80% of my life that way. And it's like amazing. And of course, 20% comes in and knocks me off, but that 80% I feel so free. Like there's nothing that can get to me or bring me down or crack my shield, so to speak. And so, you know, and I start realizing that's the whole point. With everything, you can feel like, nope, doesn't affect me. Objective and unaffected, I always say, right? And I think I really feel, Christopher, like this times moving forward is that for a lot of people. And we will be changing, helping others that don't, like those who don't will be caught in a shitstorm and like they're being driven, but they'll catch up in time, you know. So
like so, you know, there's still people, you know, wearing barely any underwear in Africa. Like they still don't even want to like make toilets, you know. Like so, it's okay. You can stay in your state wherever as long as you want, and that's not disrespect. That's respect. You know, you know, the emotional sovereignty is just honestly, y'all, we have been manipulated. And we've talked into our mind as if our mind's some magical space. If you know more information, you're going to do better. Bullshit. Knowing that you're smart. It's like when someone says to you, just calm down. Just calm down. Like, what, a fucking dog? Like, I don't just snap my mind and say, calm. You know, like, it doesn't happen that way. It takes like, come on. Like, emotions need nurturing. It's like, think of a mom with a baby. We're all babies on the inside. That energy is like a very magic plasma. But 100%. If it's not treated well, if it's not treated with care and kindness and gentleness, like you did a 2-year-old, because, you know, step 2 is a 2-year-old, terrible twos. We all have our terrible twos. And what you're seeing right now is everyone crying because the baby doesn't understand it's causing the emotion that it's feeling itself. And also, the baby thinks that the mom can solve it. Well, the mom will coerce you into solving it, talk you into it. So we're learning how to nurture ourselves. And we've been nurturing ourselves through third-party projects, food, synthetic food, Taco Bell.
Yeah. But in addition to that, we have to understand what patience really is. And I think the problem is people don't nurture because they don't have the patience, because they think patience means waiting. And I always say patience means that you are nurturing. You actually are just taking a slower time. You're taking your time to engage. You're not speeding things up. So I think people, when they think patience, they go, I've waited my whole life and I'm tired of waiting. I'm like, if you think patience is waiting, you're doing patience all wrong. Patience is very engaged. And like another word for nurturing, just be like you're taking your time. You're being very compassionate. You're putting care into whatever you're focusing on. And so rushing through it ain't care. It's just, to me, that's another form of dismissal, because you're like, oh, I don't care enough to put emphasis into it. Just go away. So I'm going to dismiss it. It's like, that just makes it bigger and louder. And you just keep dragging that with you in your life. And then that starts bleeding in other aspects of your life. And then everything starts to kind of crumble and take its fall downturn. So if you understand that's where the nucleus of the problems are, 99% of the times, we won't run into these problems.
You're describing step 0. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, step 0 is Pluto. Pluto defines the boundaries of the solar system. If you're going to visit, our solar system, you got to get past Pluto. It defines the boundary. If your mind doesn't define the boundary, you won't be patient, because this has no end. So you have to, in your conscious creativity, go, okay, I'm giving myself till 5 o'clock to calm down. That boundary right away makes it easier. It's not going to go on endless. It's invisible. It doesn't exist anyways. You can always move to 5:30 if you want. But if you have nothing, if you've set no end to this in your mind, then the universe hasn't set an end to it either. And that's why 0 is 0. It's invisible. It's not there till it's there. It's a magic step number, and so I've been practicing my boundaries like crazy. We have a Sirius Joy too, where it's like, okay, this shit stops here. This shift stops there. This shift's going to stop there. Like, start making a plan. You'll be surprised how good you feel just by giving it deadlines. Like, no, you have until this to fix it. You're like, huh?
Well, I mean, and that's why I think that's why you've channeled the step astrology system to help people kind of have a blueprint for that navigation. And speaking of, don't you have a course like Intro to Step Astrology too, to help people to kind of get their hands on how to use a step system?
Scott, I was going to keep that to myself, but I just have to say it now. No, actually, it's good timing. I mean, we're opening up seats to this class tomorrow at SiriusJoy.academy. It's not there yet. Don't go looking yet. It's tomorrow. Reason why it's coming out now is because I just kept moving my boundary, because I'm not going to put out half-made stuff anymore, racing for some deadline that doesn't exist. I'm going to wait till it's done. Next time I won't even announce it till it's done. But this is an introductory course for two types of people: professionals and personal people. People who just want to do their own personality. You don't have to know astrology to know the step system. You do not have to know astrology.
We got a promo.
Do it.
We got a promo. Let's see it.
Let's take a look.
From the creators of 40 Days of Past Lives and Karma and 40 Days of Self-Love comes the class you've been waiting for, an introduction to Step Astrology. That's right, I'm sharing some of my inside secrets on how to read a chart according to Step Astrology and help you interpret the stars, whether it's for yourself or for clients. Keep a lookout for us coming soon. Sirius Joy Academy and Introduction to Step Astrology will go live in the Taurus season.
We were told the world works a certain way. Chase success, play the game, follow the rules. But what if the game is rigged? What if your power was never really lost, just misplaced? Soul Capitalist isn't just a book, it's a wake-up call, a roadmap for reclaiming your power and rewriting your story on your own terms. Because changing the world doesn't start with a movement, it starts with you. It starts with creating a world that reflects your highest self. Soul Capitalist is a guide back to your truth, a call to awaken your inner power and lead from the light within. Soul Capitalist, how to take back your power and change the world. Available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
I'm so proud of Erica. I got to say, the team that we have here is exceptional. I mean, I'm talking here as like you, me, Sirius Joy. Like, it's all of us have sort of coagulated here like a blood clot. With a lot of Erica is brilliant. Like she sent she created a proposal for our Board of Light at Unite the Light. We have this Board of Light we're creating, which is basically kind of a new version of government, But but anyways, brilliant stuff. I'm just really impressed with the caliber of people I work with and how we all know each other. Because usually I somehow get stuck in the dumb group, like, oh, here I am entertaining the monkeys. Like this time it's cool. It's like eye to eye everywhere.
Yeah. So what's going on with the astrology right now, Christopher?
You dodged
Give us that zodiac read.
Well, we've gone into it a little bit. Ultimately, I think the biggest things to know about is the fact that we're in the high seas of emotion of Cancer. So what you're doing right now is you are recognizing emotional patterns in your life. Today is step 11. Step 11 is when you come into your sovereignty. So if there was going to be emotional sovereign step number, it's step 11. At step 11, you love yourself some more, and then you add it to 2, you feel it. So when you love yourself, and you feel it, you're there. And that's a test. Now, what happens is, once you finally get over your shift, you then go out in the world, which is all dog shift, right? And from this point forward, for the next 10 days, you're feeling good and everything around you is or isn't. So you become this instrument, this Virgo, because 11 is Virgo. You become this Virgo, hyper aware of all the things that don't feel like you do. So this next 10 days gets a little cranky because as long as you know that you're the one that drew those people in, you're around these kind of people because you were feeling that the way they were. And I'm convinced now emotion is what causes the law of attraction. I believe emotion is the power behind, the force behind the law of attraction. So you're going to basically be sorting through your life for the next 10 days, realizing, oh, I don't want this anymore. I feel different. That makes me feel icky. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. And the way to respond to it, I feel, is to yourself, just to love yourself more, amp up the vibe in your heart a little bit. Don't let it get drained by others. Put an imaginary boundary between you and them and say, okay, I'm not going to let this get to me. We're just stay in a little bubble. And so what happens in the next week or so is we sort of reorganize ourselves to where we kind of go where it feels good. Everyone goes to where it feels good. For some people, it feels good sitting around the campfire and complaining. That's where you are, and that's what feels good. I myself realized some time ago, I can feel fine when the whole, when the world is burning down. Like I'd be having a cocktail, and separate myself from it. That wasn't the case when I was born, though. I was lousy at it. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of like, I was feeling kind of like the next, I think 10 days is a good bracket for that, like disassociation. And disassociation just simply means like disassociating yourself from your past self, disassociating yourself from what other people thought you should be or not be. That could be your parents, disassociating from that type of, I would say it's kind of resolved karma. I think we've resolved a lot of karma, but we haven't let go of the associations. And so if we want to disassociate from those ideas, but also disassociating yourself, you might feel a little bit of dissociation from the collective for a period of time, and that's okay. You might need to isolate and hibernate for the next 10 days to kind of get that reflective energy on revealing. Like I said, June, July was going to be like revelation period as well, during this phasing of June, July. And so revealing within, what you really should be associating with. I know it sounds so simplistic, and a lot of these spiritual principles are so simplistic. The challenge comes in the consistency of doing such, right? And so that's Christopher and I trying to help you guys to understand the currents of how to really navigate. And so this next 10 days is about disassociating yourself from past ideas, things that just don't work any longer. Remember, because doing the same thing over and again and expecting the same result is insanity. Let's not be insane, right? And so, and a lot of that realization and new associations could be the new version of self and what your new community really looks like, and how you choose to express yourself in every different dynamic of your life, not just your personality, but in your work, in your relationships, in your families. And so there's that, again, like we said before, that it's like bridging period, but we have to learn disassociation. And sometimes we feel like we have to be so positive that we keep ourselves associated with things because we don't want to end a relationship or we want to hurt their feelings, and so we have to still learn that in our life too to create that balance. And so disassociation is gonna be a big one for the next 10 weeks in the different array that I've said previously. So
I agree. We're ending emotional codependence, and that's what you're talking about disassociating from. And here's the thing, guys. The reason why we're codependent is because we were controlled like slaves. We were controlled. And so we were told that our slave owners are who are the boss. And then once we had freedom from that, we just assumed each other's was the boss, or someone among us is the boss. Anything but us being the boss. We didn't realize that we're the boss of how our feelings feel. And we can live autonomously next to someone who's not feeling the same way and be fine. That's a capability. It's just that we were kind of beaten down into this, and then we had so much pain, that we didn't know how to navigate through. We didn't know how to solve the pain. Right. So we're waking up, I think in a big way. And I agree with the dissociation, but to me, it's like I don't judge other person who's stuck on that. I'm like, oh, stuck on level 4, huh? That's a bitch. There's no judgment to me. I was there. You know, I've also realized that what I've gone through in like the last 9 months or so, which people have been worried about at times, is I just don't always know how to deal with these feelings. Like I don't have any skill sets. They come to me and my mind wants to, you just need this. And it's like, shut up, brain. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. You know, like, so there's just patience with yourself. Emotional vibration takes a while to get on top of, you know. The best analogy to me is an actor. An actor can manage their emotions brilliantly. Now their life's a mess, but their emotions are, you know, and I always tell people too, if you want to learn how to use your emotions, take an acting class because you'll learn how to get emotions to where you want them to be.
Yeah, but you know, and we have to understand too, emotions do catch up with us, and it becomes very extreme when we have the repressed emotions that caught up with the everyday emotions that are out of alignment, and then it's like this big chaotic energy that you're in, and so, you know, we don't want the things that we're repressing to catch up, you know, in all at once or in a wrong timing. So that's another reason why we should have a little bit of fear that happens. So we do push us to focus on, amending those emotions now, because it could be rough if you have things that caught off you for 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and it all just comes in at the same time. Like that could be really rough and also disorienting for a lot of people, not knowing where it comes from. That's why most people need a reading, you know, from you and I to help navigate.
They need affirmation and they're not nuts. You know, like it's like, yep, we're picking up that too. You're nuts. You know, it's like, you know who my favorite Taurus of all time right now is George Lucas. Because I look back at Star Wars, which came out during the 70s, which I was, my generation. And, you know, the Force, I realized use the Force. It's emotion.
Of course.
He says, feel the Force. He says, feel it, feel it through you. It's emotion. Right. It is the force of life. Passion is the force of life. Emotion is the force of life. And then you see the Jedi maturing as he can deal. You know, in the first movie, he's like, man, you know, but he starts to, Luke starts to grow up. He's able to deal with his feelings and don't give in to the anger and don't give in to darkness. It's all about emotional control, the force.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I like a lot of these old movies and cartoons. I was telling my partner this yesterday. Like a lot of it, we think it's like weird, like creatures or creations. Like there's symbology of things. Oh yeah. You know, and like yesterday, I saw like a video on Vice, or I think it's Vice on YouTube. I forget the name of it. I think it's Vice, and they were talking about like how like toad serum is like more powerful than DMT. And I remember like back in the day, I played Super Mario 2 with a video game. Like, why is this guy in a dream state? And why is the final boss a toad? Like, oh, they're talking about like the toad venom could actually put you in this weird dream state. And so a lot of cartoons, there's like a lot of messages embedded in our culture that I think tell us about where the powers lie in both ourselves, right? A lot of about the emotion, but also in all the external things that I think the universe has given us to activate emotions, like psychedelics and DMT. You know, if you struggle, we do have earthly medicinal tools that help to evoke that from us. You know, and then Mother Ayahuasca, you know, for healing, and so many outlets we do have tools we can use if we're having issues.
Totally. I mean, the shaman did that. We're like, we've got medicine for you. We're going to get you stoned and put you in the middle of the jungle. And you'll come, if you come back, you'll be healed. And it's funny because coming here, I'm always in touch with all scenes. Okay, guys, it surprise people. You'll see me down there in that corner. And Toad and DMT is like exploding out here. Like I've never seen so many people in the desert and this type of thing. And I'm like, what? And it comes literally from a toad's back. I don't know. Like, I don't know. They squeeze it. I don't know. But apparently, but it's interesting because when I started out, in the world of darkness and what's out there in clubs and stuff, it was never hallucinogenic. It was never third eye stuff. But now DMT and Toad and these other things are like not acid, and not necessarily like the big stuff, like minor. They last like 30 minutes. I mean, 5-10 minutes. I hear.
Oh yeah.
So like it's like, but the fact that it's getting popular to open the third eye is interesting to me. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but I just think it's a reflection and a manifestation of the fact of how we're growing collectively and how we're expanding collectively. As we know, we're going in those times that I'd say by 2030, the spiritual communities will be a norm. Psychics will be a norm. Astrologers will be a norm instead of being kind of looked at. And so we're going in that direction. And so yeah, I definitely feel like it's to me, I'm happy to see that. I'm not surprised, but I'm happy because I'm like, yeah, this is where we're going.
Well, you put fluoride in our shit for long enough, we'll just go get Toad. Fuck you. It's like, it just undoes it right there. It's like, boom, third eye open. Hello. I think it's really that the Toad syndicate's taking over Mexico. I think the Toads are in charge. I think clearly the cartel is now a Toad cartel, and they're like in the woods, like we have everything. Yeah, lick my back for $100. Yeah. So
no, but yeah. But yeah, it's cool. But emotions can be tricky during this time. So I do have a live show every Thursday to also help navigate as well. So tomorrow I'm doing a live show. It's every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And tomorrow I'm talking about, is reincarnation a trap? So we hear a lot of times about not reincarnating, are you going to be stuck here? And so I'll get into the depths of my philosophy about reincarnation and what I've learned in my channeling processes. And I'll be also doing live readings as well as usual. So you get a question in, or you can book a personal one-on-one session with me at scottcruzpm.com. Find me there. It's a nice Thursday night time, I would say.
It is. It's a good time. I think a lot of our future is just sitting around chewing the fat and talking about reincarnation.
Yeah.
I'm a full believer. But I'll have to tune in and see what you really think, because on the show you mask it. No, I'm kidding.
We don't have time for me to go in my channeling mode of preaching, but yeah, my show, I will go into depth. But understanding where we came from, it helps us understand where we're at now and where we're going. And so that's why I think a lot of people are so curious about past lives. Like average everyday people ask me, so what's my past life? And I'm like, before I would get about boyfriend questions, now on the street they're asking me about past lives. You're right. I think people are curious to know like where they came from, because it will make sense why they're here. And and the joke of like, I must have been bad in a past life has been a common joke now with people who are going through shit. And so I think it's what people are like really hungry to learn more about too.
I completely agree. And I used to do past lives. I would bring up past lives and stuff, and I just lose the audience, right?
Yeah.
But I think what happened was when we upgraded to this new version, like we're in the new version, guys. The fact that you realize there's something you don't know, that's the space that expanded. Like the ceiling got taller. You're like, what? The ceiling's taller. It's now 12 feet. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And you're only 2 feet tall, But I was 6 feet a minute ago. That's kind of like, that's the feeling. You realize, wow. And that is, I think, what conscious expansion is. It's like God's like, nope, it goes bigger. It goes bigger. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But it's exciting to see. Yeah, I used to get, you're absolutely right. I used to get like cornered in a party, talk about their signs or astrology. Now I'm talking about how the universe works, how heaven works, how reincarnation works, like how the system of spirituality evolves. It's really interesting to see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want people to, because we all have that information, in our DNA. So I want to illuminate that in people so they can actually see the structure themselves too and experience it. Because unfortunately science has not been able to prove, certain levels of consciousness, can't prove anything on the spiritual nature. And so it doesn't mean that it exists. They can't weigh it right now. So the more people have experiences and start talking about it, you'll force them to study it more. You'll force them to kind of like, look into it deeper to give us explanations scientifically. So I tell people, a lot of people, Christopher, they hold back on their spiritual experiences because they don't want to feel like they're crazy. Tell people, get it out there. Stop keeping it a secret.
Agreed. I agree with that. Even as I'm expanding, sometimes can't believe what I just experienced.
Yeah.
There's something that happened recently. I can't remember. Well, it was a video game thing. I can't tell you what happened. It's hard to describe, but I suddenly was free. I was suddenly free. I just felt this liberty and this, this joy. And so here's the thing, if you have a spiritual experience and it brings you joy, happiness, relief, you may not understand it, but you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. Your heart will never be happy for it's, that it's on its way to something bad. Like your heart knows everything. And the fact that heart knows is also compelling. It's like, so interesting. So I guess today, this brings us to a good segue about today's topic, actually. And I don't know if you know what I just learned about last over commercial. Just kidding. What is joy? What is joy? Now, I'm so past that. I got Sirius Joy over at my house. But what is joy? No, what is joy anyways? What makes us enjoy? What is to be in joy? And how do you find joy in your daily life, especially when you're in pain and misery?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's everything we just talked about is the core of joy. Because, knowing the self and understanding how you work, then you understand that, hey, I understand how I work. I understand what I can do to change things. I understand where I'm at now. It's all good. So there's a peace in that. So I like to even say not so much joy, but peace. Because when you find a peace of where you're at and where you're going, there's a joy in that. And therefore, you start participating more in your everyday life. You show up for the littlest things again, and so many people like to have their job, their mom. Like, what's next in my life? I'm like, your child is only 4 years old. You just got this crib. What do you mean what's next? Participate in what you have, right? And so when you let yourself to participate in what you have and start expressing what you're doing now in a different light or a different way versus changing it, then you find joy. Then you find that happiness. Then you find the peace. And yes, we have to do things every day. So instead of like, I got to walk, instead of saying, I'm going to like do that walk a little differently today. Maybe I'm going to feel good about myself. You can change the way you're doing it.
You can, and actually, not to toot my own horn, but I guess I will. But the steps are the steps of Sirius Joy. I'm not kidding. It's the 11 steps to Sirius Joy. Now, I don't know if it's the only steps, but they work. And so if you ask me the question, how you bring joy, you got to first wall off and protect yourself from others. You got to put up a wall. Then you got to focus on your heart. Then you got to feel it. Once you feel it, you'll believe it. Once you believe it, you know where you belong. Once you belong, you know how to think. Once you think, then you accept it. So I'd say the biggest hang-ups, I won't go to all your 11. You can learn that in the class. But what's most important, I'll find, because it's deep, it takes a long time. What's most important is that you got to put up a boundary. You cannot enjoy your life unless you separate yourself from your people around you. Not permanent separation, but enough to not have your neighbor in your yard, right? So if you don't feel safe, there's no way you're going to have joy. You need to feel safe.
Yeah.
That's number 0. And then the second one that's most important is I feel. Your feelings have to follow your heart. Your heart must be the boss of your feelings. Your mind may not be the boss of your feelings. Your mind is going to fuck it up. It's all it's done your whole life. You've given your whole life to that. Try this theory. Let your heart be the boss. I think that's quintessential to joy. That feelings have to follow the heart and what the heart wants. So the heart doesn't feel bad. So don't allow it. Coerce your feelings like a 2-year-old back to joy. Just like your mom be like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay." The stupid shit we do as our moms do us to as babies. That's kind of what we need to get ourselves out of that slump.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the next, that's day to day too. But like, then people ask, well, how do you live soft in a hard world? I don't know what we're talking about there in that living hard in a soft world. But I understand the title there, because I would say, well, then Viagra. Then that's how you live and be soft in a hard world.
Soft world. That's hard to soft.
True, hard to soft world. That is correct. Right. Exactly. It's a flipping of that.
You know what? You don't care. Yeah.
Well, but it's just knowing how you tick and knowing how you work is very important. And so I think that again, if we can actually understand what we want to express, and I think that's how you can be soft in a hard world, is that if you understand like what you need to express, because when we express something, whether we express through pain or express through crying, right, or express through laughter, isn't expression the kind of release of kind of where you feel like you can actually survive because you feel free that you're able to express something? It feels good. And so many people are repressing what they really want to express, and that's where I think that a lot of their problems really derive from is the repression. So in this kind of living in the world we are today, I think we need more people expressing themselves, because so many people are on the verge of feeling or saying something, and all it takes is somebody else to get that ball rolling and to express it. And I think we've been so expressive deprived, if that's even a good way of saying that we've been so focused on like instant gratification, finger in front of the screen on social media, and getting that feedback, that we lost the act of expression. Everything's at my fingertips. Virtual boyfriend. Oh, I need the boyfriend to show up for me. It's like, but what are you bringing to the table? What are you expressing? Nothing. So how do you expect someone to show up for you if you don't express anything? So we got to remember now, that's how you really kind of participate in this world, is like expression. Many people are not doing that. So if you do, you'll be a leader in a sense, a trailblazer in this world.
It reminds me of me and my brothers when we were stuck in Catholic church with my grandparents.
Oh,
you ever get stuck in church? So you're in prison. You're like, no. One of my brothers are like crack a joke. Like, boom, shut the fuck up. But you can't hold that laughing at church. You're just like, wah. That's how you overcome in a sea of pain. It's like when joy really takes over, there's no stopping it. It's a tidal wave. When you enjoy something, you are in joy. In fact, I think that's an evil spelling the word E-N-J-O-Y. It's I-N-J-O-Y. Enjoy. You're in joy. You're going to enjoy it. Yeah. You're going to stay in the joy, which means you just crack the next thing that's even funnier, which means you just pull the next wacky whack out of your back pocket, and you just ride that wave of joy as long as you can. I think, and so with my clients who get deeper sessions with me, I always prescribe a sole prescription, and I'm like, all right, that's it. You got to have three doses of joy a day. Do you know how hard they struggle with that? I'm like, just ask your heart, what would you like? Your heart's like, I want a Mercedes. Well, we don't have that right now, kid. What else? But it's like, a lot of times my heart will be like, I just want some, lemonade. And you're like, really? Your mind's like, come on, lemonade. But you go and you're like, oh, this is good. And once you're like, I love this lemonade. Like, you suddenly enjoy again. I feel like we have to make a joy appointments, like 3 times a day, like 3 doses of joy.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, en means to put into. Like, so enjoy is actually the en that we talk about. So in our language, en does mean to put into. So that's a good thing. So it's a good thing it's correct. But
en is wrong. We should be spelling en then. I'm in
Well, I mean,
love.
I guess you know how our language is. Like "in" can be that way too, but like in a word, "en" does mean to put into. Like in joy, so I actually are saying to put into something. So it is.
So if I'm in love, it's gonna be Ian Love. Ian Love. If
It
I'm
could
Ian,
be. Yeah, if you put "in love," like "en love," that's a new word, you know, that you can create and say, yeah, it's in
no,
love.
I argue the Dark Wizards already misspelled this. These are
You think
spells.
so?
I've been obsessed with the spells, like the misspellings. Like for instance, here and here, here and here. I think here, like come here, is HEAR. It's meant to be come here, come here and
Here.
take me. Come
I hear
listen
you. I
to
see what you're saying.
me. So why do you make someone ERE? See, that was the misspell. That was the to confuse us, I think. But that's my
Right.
own word conspiracy that I'm going after. Webster for. I'm going to kill that man, Webster.
Yeah, but what did
Kevin
you ask me?
Rockefeller on my list.
Would you ask me before we go into that? Would you ask me something I didn't hear?
Yeah, I
After
wasn't.
your
Yeah, that's because I
Don't
spelled
remember?
EHA. Yeah, I think we're talking about. Well, I don't know, but I'll ask you this: like, what do you do for clients who are having a hard time? Is it that you psychically see what's blocking them? Like, what's your methodology?
Well, the first thing is like I always and my clients don't understand like it's okay to be where you're at. Like we don't have to like get out of it. Just let's go through this. It's okay. There's nothing bad here. First is to nurture the fact that where they're at is where it's very important. It's a pivotal moment in their life that can really define everything that they want in a positive sense for their future. So my first tool is to let them know this is the reason, this is the purpose, this is where it's the manifestation came from, and this is what we need to learn through the situation. I would usually pluck out any unresolved karma, what the karmic lesson actually is, and what needs to be done to do so. And so then I create personal game plans for my clients in the session of how to do it, because every person's different. And people always ask me, why don't I have like a course? I'm like, because every person requires something different. And I always like lay it out for the individual in a session, because everyone is so uniquely different and has so many different variables. And so and then we create a game plan of doing so, and key triggers that allow someone to identify, okay, where they can be beside themselves to understand when they're like repressing emotion or repressing circumstances or in a moment they can't feel. This way, after the session, they have a moment of realization, a recollection of like, oh yeah, this means I'm repressing that or repressing this. And so it's and I think a lot of times my clients, when they see this as an actual process, like, holy shit, there's a process. I haven't even begun the process. Oh, cool. It makes them actually feel like there is a way out. Versus like it's just a never-ending feeling of like depravity, and so it's like, oh, there's a process and I haven't even done half of that. Okay, let's do it. And so yeah, it's a wonderful thing actually when I see the lights go off. When you see light bulbs go off, and then when they make the change, it's like I'm like, I can't say I told you so, but I'm glad you did.
Well, you get excited as a practitioner. There are literal steps. I mean, that's what we do. There are literal steps that'll pull you into your heart. I want to just do a quick promo for my 40 Days of Self-Love program that's coming up on July 23rd. This program, if I've ever gotten more compliments from something, it's this program. What it is that for 40 days, we line up a journaling exercise with the actual vibration of the sun and the heart. And so each day, we have you journal and ask questions to your heart. So you interview your heart for 40 days. And you realize through the interview of your heart how you have neglected it and you've put it aside as a side token. And you just have to go through the journaling. It's just the exploration of the heart, basically. People come out sunshiny, happy, really revived. And for people who've done it already, we have an actually expansion pack we're putting out this year with Gwed English. She's helping you build an oracle card system to asking your heart questions. So give it a try. I can almost guarantee that you will be changed forever. In most cases, what you're describing is true, Scott. That the emotion, step one is down here, which is our heart. And then there's motions, and then there's the mind. So what happens is people can't feel their heart if there's all sorts of turmoil in their feelings. They can't get to the heart. And so a lot of people just gave up looking for their heart, because anytime they go down that field, they just get nothing but emotional storms.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always like to say, because my whole theme of my work is aligning the mind with the soul, that we understand the mind is filtering our soul, and what filters we have on there. Let's look at it from that angle, that point of view. So you realize, a filter of like, mama wasn't good to me, a filter of I was abused, a filter of like, I can't trust anybody. And so we take those filters off, we can really see life the way it's intended to. So yeah, I think it's a core. And then understanding what we're talking about, our feelings and so forth too. So
you bring up, like, I think exactly that. I just want to reinforce that step 5 is thinking. And you know how Gemini has 2 spheres of the mind? It's not supposed to talk Gemini. It's supposed to listen to the heart on one side and listen to the soul on the other. I completely agree with you. And the mind's job is to listen to the heart and soul. That's all there is heart and soul, period, right? We've heard that. I agree. The mind is not here to talk.
And the joy is when they have the synergy between the two. That's the joy.
Ecstasy is a better word.
Synergy. Yeah. What's that?
Ecstasy is a better word. Like you were feeling just like when all of you is getting along, there's no better feeling than all of you getting.
side.
Yeah,
right?
that is a better term for sure.
There's no greater
So
feelings.
how do we protect it now? Like that's I think the way to kind of conclude this is how can we protect the joy, in this time, and so I think for me, the first one, I think for people, I always advise people too, is like, if you're creative, find a creative outlet. If you're not creative, find a creative outlet, find an outlet where you can actually have people who are similar minded with you, or finding ways that you actually want to maybe elaborate or expand on a couple of certain things that you haven't done yet. Find people who are doing it now too. So that's another way, because you start finding people who are like-minded, then you feel like you're not a misfit, because sometimes when you're doing that work, you might feel like a misfit and not connecting with reality. That can be a wobbly experience if you feel uncertain in that aspect. But yeah, find a creative outlet of people. If it's Star Wars, it's Star Wars. Whatever it is. If it's furry friends, it's furry friends. Find it.
You just struck gold there, brother. You struck gold because, first of all, creation and creativity is connecting straight to your heart. You cannot create the mind. The mind doesn't create. The mind tries to trick things and go around things. And it's not, it's not like-minded people, if I may. It's like-hearted people. People who love the same shit that you do. If you love golf, go be your, go what you do. That's putting yourself in joy. If you enjoy something and you do it, you're in joy. That's right. It's overly simple. And I think that's why, I used to kind of like feel negative about that. Put down people spend time playing games all the time. Until I realized we're video. It's like the truth of the matter is they enjoy the simulation, but they're learning. I agree. So creativity is amazing. Like you go create something, you're gonna feel so good because you have you have creation blowing through you.
Right. Yeah.
You have love blowing through you. And if your heart's
and I think another way is like in that, like when you create meaning through the actions that you take. You know what I'm saying? So, you're actually be more conscious of what you're expressing, what actions you're doing. You're not just like, a lot of us are on fucking default. I'm like, people's souls are asleep and their brain is just kind of functioning like an NPC, right? And so we have to understand, be conscious, take conscious actions of what we're doing even on the little level of like the streets you're taking to work, like make a change, because that in time makes you more aware and more understanding of how much control you really are in. And therefore you will make the decisions to protect whatever emotional sovereignty that you've had, that you built for yourself, and no one's going to trample upon that. So when you actually make the decision, conscious actions in your life, then you start recognizing, I am the boss. I'm Queen Bee here. Yes. Or Queen G, Queen God.
I'm mini God. You're a mini God of your own world. Like your dad comes to mind. He's like, does he know why he's making all these clocks? He doesn't. Right. But your dad's making all these crazy cool clocks, We have his
website up. We have the pictures up. We got the store going. So yeah,
let's do some advertising for him. Let's sell them out. Sure. Let's sell them out.
Yeah, I'll have him make a commercial. Yeah, I'll do a commercial for him.
Oh yeah, you should. Yeah, I'm Scott's father. There's worse things in life.
Yeah,
Scott's father is like Mr. Jokester. He like wanted to be on TV, but in 1 minute, he's like the guy who puts himself down for fun. Like he's like a total. He's in some sort of a talk show, game show on the air thing in his head. You know what I mean? Like, my
dad is totally a pisser. He's a character.
He's great.
They make you laugh.
You two are great. I love it. It's like Abbott Costello kind of stuff going on. Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's got like this entire room of clocks. Like, and I know your mom's like, another clock. Like, what time is it? I don't know.
I'm trying to remind him I'm dying soon. Clocks. My time is coming to an end soon. And thanks for the clocks. So
it's so cool. And some of them are cool. Like, okay, but he doesn't know why. He's just doing it. He just wants to create them, which is beautiful. I imagine he's going to realize that he's really the king of time. I don't know. What's he learned? Like, there's a surprise element there.
He's always loved clocks and watches, but I think it's a good way kind of to close this is that he did it because he said, I saw him building stuff. I'm like, Dad, why don't you like do something with this? And he did. He didn't know what. He has like 50 clocks that he's built, just created, and now he's going to start a business. And you never know what you invest in, put your time into, how it could grow and evolve. Like, and we shouldn't be doing it for that fact anyways. We should do it because like we said, it comes from the heart. We enjoy doing it. Something I would enjoy doing. It doesn't have to make money or not, and it probably will make money. Most times it does. But like, if you start doing things from a conscious action, like I just feel like I want to do this, and get that out. That brings so much change. It sets you up for so much. So, what commercials do we have?
Let's start Sirius Joy. Yeah, we do one more commercial. Y'all stick around. We'll let it roll here.
Yeah, which is this?
Are you a practitioner looking to move your life's work into the spotlight? Do you have that special magic that makes you stand out? Sirius Joy is now auditioning for its new Practitioner of the Week segment on Namaste Today. Sensei Christopher is looking to highlight qualified lightworkers with a promo short dedicated to raising awareness about your gifts. Interested? Contact Jenny at intuitive.com to apply for an audition and get ready to shake what your spirit gave you.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I started doing the horoscopes 19 years ago, my 20th year next year. And it's like, I was just doing what I loved. And look what it's turned into. Everything you saw, like people all jumped on this and,
Yeah.
you know, Adam did a lot of those commercials. Those commercials are great, man. They're saying good commercials. I'm just proud of ourselves. You
Yeah.
know, see, that's part of the joy that you have. I never got, the horoscopes didn't make any money for like 7 years. It was just, I loved it. I just loved it. It was like playing a game as a kid. It was like playing a game as a kid, pretending to be this, but I was, just follow what you enjoy. Yeah.
Show up and watch it grow. That's it, And so what do we have for next week's show?
I have no idea.
4th of July. Join us next week. So yeah, I guess we have to brainstorm on that one.
So we have 4th of July. Happy birthday to the United States, by the way. Cranky Cancer, Step 13 Cancer. We are very emotional. We're an emotional nation, but see, that's powerful because in the world of the earth, emotion is what it's all about. So have the emotion. I don't remember doing this here. I'm looking for simplicity, creative outlets. I'm not sure. That's all we have.
We'll figure it out. We'll find one that goes with the current. We'll pick one that goes with the current. Yeah.
I do feel this obligation to say the United States is not only going to work out; it's going to thrive. Okay, it's going to thrive. This is a young nation. It's only 300 years old. So just have patience. We're not falling apart. We are reorganizing ourselves and we're growing taller. That's all that's happening. It's going to work out.
I think even globally too. I think globally in time it's going to have a domino effect.
I think we have the biggest media because we're supposed to, talk about what we're doing, and then people are like, oh, we're doing that too. I mean, I think other nations are already doing it. They just find out from us, like, oh, it's the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's always a pleasure, brother.
Always a pleasure, and yes, I think we'll have a fun topic, I'm sure, next week. And don't forget to check out my live show tomorrow, guys. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Scott Cruz PM of live readings and chat. Is Reincarnation a Trap? And we'll see you all next week.
Check out my show, Namaste Today, going live at 5 p.m. Friday on Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. Friday for Easter. And then Astro Mingle, my interview show that follows right after. That happens at 6 and respectively 9 Eastern. So tune in. It's a fun time. It's a good party. All right,
guys. See you all next week on Leading Out Loud. And what do you say, Christopher? What's the tagline?
Don't put up a shit show. Lead out loud.
Get loud. Exactly, man.
I'm gonna read you the beginning of this. I don't like Fat Chris anymore.
You don't like the what?
Fat Chris. This is Fat Chris here. I had swollen up to like 200 pounds in this before I shed.
Is that Fat Chris? I think it's good, Chris.
No, I would say it's bad. Fat is not bad. It's just it's hard.
That's it. Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to the fatness.
Yeah.